Why, hello there. Camera, what are you looking at? What's over there? No. Over here. No, over here. There you go. Welcome in. Hi, I am Chef Jay Tay. Happy to see all of you back. Happy Friday. Or Sunday. Oops. I can never keep the days straight anymore. Happy Sunday. How we doing? We be doing Idaho. And yeah, those are the wrong potatoes. So I've got these potatoes over here. They're still not Idaho russets. But there are potatoes tonight. Hello everyone. Welcome in. Let's see there. Let's see here. We have a wild muskeg. A Will Poker. JK. Tiff. Blake. Welcome. Howdy. So yeah, we're doing Idaho tonight as far as our state and U.S. territories progression. This is a little like bar food tonight. We're going to be doing finger steaks, monkey fries, and fry sauce. I couldn't find huckleberries or proper berries. I was considering doing a dessert, did not see them. So, sorry. Hi, Soph. So let's make some coffee. I was royally frustrated this afternoon when I looked at my phone, saw the temperature outside was like, I don't think it was even 70 today. And then I pulled out it's still in back. I pulled out my infrared temperature meter, and I'm not recording. I'm supposed to be recording. Let's fix my recording back here while I'm disappeared. Okay. I had walked him back with this thing. Camera. And the surfaces all in the back room were between 78 and 80 degrees. So in other words, the interior of this house was more than 10 degrees more than it was outside. So if you're ever wondering why I'm sweating during stream, moisten our filter. Some people call it rinsing it. Probably works better for marketing saying you rinse your filter. So here is familiar with finger steaks. Anyone? Like, I'm pretty sure I've come across this sort of a thing before. And I've done similar for, like, stir fry. But I don't think I've ever been to a place and have them have finger steaks on the menu. It doesn't seem that we have any knowledgeable Idahoans in chat, I guess. Finger steaks are a steak. It's traditionally or typically in New York, which is why I put that I'm doing a ribeye in there. But it's typically New York, and it is cut into strips. And I've heard it either floured, battered, or like, and then fried. Put more sugar in my sugar holder. It makes it harder to get the scoop back in there. From my understanding, it's absolutely gorgeous. As far as states go, they have some wonderful wilderness. I don't recall being to Idaho myself. It's sort of hilarious, though. It's almost a meme at this point that the houses out there, though, like, rural Idaho is rural. Like, at least looking at the homes that they have out there, there is a fair number of homes that are, one, designed to be confusing and hard to navigate, and two, with, like, secret hides / compartments / and it's because they're in the middle of nowhere, and if they need help, there ain't anyone to help them. And so the homes were built to be half fortresses on top of, like, just a home. And then you get into all the other stuff that people talk about Idaho, which... I think there's a fair number of religious fanatics in every U.S. state. Nice! Fun little side trip. Side quest. I appreciate all of you joining me for my Sunday and yours. Cheers. Alright, tater time. We're making monkey fries, which are not traditional fries. Just happen to have the right cutter forward on this thing because, well, I was checking I actually owned the cutter. So, I needed to check that first. Yeah, I'm not trusting that. We're making more or less fries here, or chips here, but they're thick and they're ruffles. That's questionably too thin. There we go, that's a little bit more. Like, there's actual thickness to that. That's not thin and crisp. Like, those have got some heft to them. I think we're gonna go for a big old pot. Actually, this isn't a very big pot, but actually that's a little small for what I want to do. There we go. We'll get the next size up. Got my potatoes from a different store today. Anyone following along in the photos channel of the Discord, I was complaining about the potatoes the other night. I bought some Yukons the other day and I made a mash with them. And they were just way too waxy for what I'm accustomed. Like, they basically held their shape like they were uncooked, even though they were cooked. Make sure none of these are stuck together, even though I set them in here nicely together. And we're going to give those a boil. These, yeah, I hope these ones, yeah. They cut pretty well, but I didn't notice it cutting the other ones last time. So, like, I used to really like the place that I bought the, I'm not going to say names, but the place that I used to go to and the place I got those potatoes from the other night, it's a family business, and it's been a nice place for a long time. But it's getting to be where some of their stuff, I just can't trust it anymore. And I'm getting where I don't even really want to bother. I mean, it's not far, but it's not the closest place to me. And for a long time, I've justified that for quality of stuff they've had. That said, these ones could be from the exact same place. Like, I mean, it's not like these supermarkets all have the wildest choice of, oh, I'm gonna get potatoes from here, there, and there. I don't have any water. So now what? Yeah, not that. We'll go back to that and we'll do, let's take a look at the steak. Well, actually I have two steaks, but we're only cooking one of these. Let's figure out which steak we're cooking. Sorry, chat. It's going to be the uglier of the two. I'm not going to cut up and fry the nicer of the two. Wait, is that is that actually the term for that symbol? Yeah, so if I'm like, what? While universally known in English as the at sign, or commercial at in Unicode, the colloquial term strudel is frequently used in programming slang, and also the standard term for the symbol in Hebrew. In Dutch, it's called the Ipstad, which means monkey's tail. We're keeping you. I don't know why I'm washing my hands. I should just be cutting that beef. Arrobas? Well, that doesn't sound... I'm not saying that very French.
Little silver skin there. Can it be delicious as tomorrow? I was sitting here like, when am I going to use this? I've already got 3 chicken thighs down there, just chilling. I've added this to the list. I'm going to give you one of the cans that I've added. Just because my head has been, like, all over the place with what the heck can I use this for. Have any of you seen these yet? It's supposed to be essentially like a fruit dessert in a can. Like salted caramel sliced pears in a can. But they had a whole list of them. Like, they had several different combinations. I just realized I don't think that has a label that comes off. Might have to get creative with how I show that can. Not the one that I was talking, the Fruit Delight one. I think I'm going to get the label to come off, no problem. Let's see the other options here. Really, a lot of pears there. We got brown sugar sliced peaches, salted caramel sliced pears, and cinnamon sliced pears. I thought there was more than that. I could have sworn there was more than that in the store there. Maybe they just had those 3, but... Huh. I like pears. They don't go with a lot of other stuff. I mean, they do, but... No, they don't. They're just... typically so bright and acidic, and they're like apple mealy, like... flesh. Apples are more sturdy, and like usually you mention pear and dessert, and about the only thing that I hear people talk about is poaching them. Now let's soak them in booze. Makes everything taste better. I'm procrastinating a little bit, waiting on our potatoes to warm up. But I guess we can get started. I think I'm going to do a sort of traditional batter on these. 3-stage batter. Don't know if I have enough breadcrumbs for this project. In this style. I have some breadcrumbs, but not enough. Oh, I have panko here somewhere too, don't I? Yes. Okay, so we'll do combination of these. Make it true bar style. Welcome in, Alex. I am mildly confused on the monkey fries, on the exact specifics of them. Their origin is a very specific location in Idaho, one of those ancient tavern type joints. And I've seen, well, basically there's the shape that I'm cooking them in, which is sort of like the thick potato chip is part of it. But if you look up monkey fries other than that, if you take Idaho out of the name monkey fries, they're either fries that are like heavily loaded or they're heavily spiced. But you throw Idaho in there and all of a sudden they turn back into being these same shaped ones. And no real mention of them being loaded, or I am thinking of putting some spice on them. Do we have any internet food historians out there? Besides being from this restaurant, I would love to hear origins of monkey fries. Actually going to swap these pans on the stove here. I shouldn't have filled this one with oil before doing that, but here we are. it's not hot yet, so that's not a concern. Refilled the hummingbird feeder last night, and I haven't seen him back. I don't know if they're hitting up the one in front, though. I don't have a good view. I have two of them. And they never used to go to the one in front, which I can see if I walk off screen here. Hold on to that for me. Salt. Ja, Capitano. Welcome, welcome. Plain paprika. What else do I want to throw in this? I don't want to make this too complicated. We're doing it for the steak. I think we'll leave it right there. We'll just do a fair amount of pepper in there. Fair amount of pepper. What a fair amount of pepper is, I don't know. It's a fair amount. More than a fair amount? Is there such a thing as an unfair amount of pepper? I've never had a thing as over peppery. Yeah, I've had things over peppered before. But I've said before, I like tasting things. I want to know that I have things in there. Then again, at the same time, I put things in there that I don't really want. No. When it comes to my stocks, I put things like fennel in there, which I'm not a huge fan of fennel, but I like it as a background note. But when it comes to pepper, yeah, I'm putting pepper on something. I want to know there's pepper on it. Usually things get too peppery when, like, pepper's, like, the only thing going on, and you just get this, like, tannin note. Actually, we'll go back here. How long do I want to give these? Are these cooked yet? I'm going to go with a couple of them are looking that way, but most of those look like they need a little more time. Still just sort of killing time here, waiting on these potatoes to cook. We're sort of doing triple cook fries again. I don't know if I'm going to triple cook these, though. I don't know that I'm going to double fry them. Like, things that I've had overly peppery, actually, I would say biscuits. And that's surprising because I put a ton of pepper in my biscuits, and I like lots of pepper in my biscuits. But I have had biscuits with too much pepper in them before. I suspect that's something more I note when someone else makes them than when I make them, though. I was just non-functional today. I don't know if it was the heat in the house or what, but like, I woke up and was like working in like half a daze through most of the morning and then fell asleep around lunch. And have been fighting to be awake. I fought myself to get up and get dressed and get out and do some shopping and come back home. Still feeling like I'm walking like a zombie. Sketty. Out of curiosity, folks, do you spring for the fancy spaghetti when you make spaghetti? Or you just buy the cheap spaghetti? I'm talking about the pasta itself. Your cat woke you up at 4:30 this morning? Did you feed it? That's usually their priority. I find it interesting what people spend their, like, I'm a cheapo on certain things, and I'm most certainly not a cheapo on other things. And to me, it fascinates me what makes it worth one person, not another. Like, I could see a fair number of people out there, you know, buying cheap spaghetti itself, the actual spaghetti, and then spending a fortune on their sauce. Or vice versa. Maybe you're going out and getting ragu, and I laugh even at the thought of ragu. I'm sorry if there's any ragu lovers out there, but that is not tomato sauce to me. Ragu is to pasta sauce as Papa John's is to pizza for me. Not a fan. I don't know why I'm layering these in the flour. I guess it's something to do while we're waiting, but they're going to be waiting in the flour a bit. And some paper towel down so that we can pull the taters out and dry them a bit. Still gonna give those taters another minute or two. Got a single hair just drooping down and poking me in the eye, and it's irritating me no end tonight. Has anyone seen that new hide and seek game that all the streamers are playing? Like, I saw a clip of Forsen doing it the other day. Actually, like, it seems like it's a very buggy game, but it seems like it's very fun. For being a simple, like, it's well-made concept. It's just buggy. And here's hoping that they can actually fix the bugs, because it looks like a great party game. It pulls in a lot of different aspects that I think, like, first off, it's hide and seek, which very simple game premise. And then the people are hiding, they can paint themselves to hide better. I don't even know the name of this game that I'm describing, so that helps. A lot of people jumping into trying to do, I forget the term that they use for it in streaming, but basically bouncing between games. Like, I think there's, with all of the new announcements here recently, you have people thinking that they're going to be able to. The streaming world has changed since Twitch brought up, and, you know, streaming was the way that you got to know games. And I think with the huge rush of games that we're seeing here this next year, like, there's a ton of games coming out here soon. There's people trying to jump on that bandwagon again. I don't know if that bandwagon's going to exist. Just don't know. Okay, we're going to pull these off onto paper towel now. This made more chips than I expected here. This is a feast of potato. I guess that fits an Idaho dinner. Alright, let's get the boiling water out of the way. I put notes about most of my dinners afterward, in the Discord. Let's see, what did I write in the Discord for tomato night? Oh, the potatoes were the problem that I was talking about earlier. That was the Campbell's soup night. The mashed potatoes that I made that night, the potatoes were just all wrong. Meatballs were delicious. Cake was delicious. Yeah, cauliflower nachos were delicious too. We had 300 here. We're right there. This is going to be our low fry for these. Those are hot. Now I know why they don't make these in a lot of places. They take up entirely too much fryer space. Which is also why you don't see potato chips in a lot of bars and stuff like that. The potato chips are really easy to make. They just use your entire fryer. And if you're making, fast food level fries, this is it's going to take entirely too much space, fry space. Cauliflower nachos, I don't know if they're necessarily best as nachos. Like, I think that's a delicious combo that you can just make into, like... You can dress it and make it look a little bit like nachos, but I think you should maybe just sort of treat it like a salad. And I was saying, it's a little bit like tachos. Like, they sort of have some rigidity, so they have some structure to them. You could pull a couple of chips up, no problem. I was pulling up a fair number of chips, and even at the bottom I was pulling them up as pieces. But once they get moistened, their structure quickly fades. See, like, my memory is so bad. Like, I remember that I had the problem with the potatoes last time I dealt with potatoes. But I had already forgotten when I had dealt with those potatoes until someone asked how the tomato soup dinner was. Glass blowing? I ain't doing no glass blowing. I'm doing glass cutting. I got another stream scheduled for next Saturday. Give this a second shot. Glass blowing entirely. I do not have the setup for that. I wouldn't even want to think about what would be required in order to get that set up in California or insure it. I mean, heck, even stained glass beyond what I'm doing gets into don't really want to do this enough. Like, the upgrades from what I already have set up are like, okay, clamshell kiln. Okay, I'm not getting that. Or, I could maybe get a ring saw or something like that, but that would take up a bunch of space that I don't really have the room for. I'm probably going to have 3 batches of these. But yeah, on Saturday I'm going to do another cutting glass stream. I'm going to start work on my first project that people get to see. Pending the stream doesn't self-destruct again. And I'm a little worried because I have to do stuff over here before that stream, and I have no idea how I'm going to do it while on my normal stream schedule. I think this might be the last use of this oil that's in the pan. Though with my track record, I'll probably still strain it and put it in with the old oil. But generally, you put beef in oil. It's a little like putting seafood in oil. The flavor is just sort of there from then on. Like, if you're doing chicken, you can do chicken for ages, and you can mix it with all other sorts of stuff. And it doesn't really matter. Or potatoes. And I'll do onions, but the onions don't really matter much unless you're doing, like, donuts. But you get into beef, you get into fish, you get into some strong flavors that just sort of stick. I mean, there's a reason that McDonald's used to put beef tallow in their fry fat. It tastes good. I thought tomato was the, well, I guess it is the plant and the fruit. Hey, Dorito. Oh, hummingbirds at the feeder. We be doing finger steaks, which is another word for cutting your strip into steak in strips and deep frying it. What are monkey fries? You're staring at them. They're sort of like potato chips, but thicker. And I'm a little confused at the exact, like, you look at the origins in Idaho, and they look just like the ones that I've got going right over there. Right over there. And then you look up, you take Idaho out of it, and they're essentially like loaded fries or heavily seasoned fries. But if you look them up with Idaho in context, it's from a specific restaurant in Idaho. It's the pictures all immediately switch to looking like this rather than other types of fries. And so I think there's actually two definitions of monkey fries depending on where you are.
So we've boiled these potatoes now, and now we're doing their low temp fry, where I'm cooking them at a lower we're probably 250-ish right now, but keeping them, basically pulling as much moisture out of them as we can. And then we're going to fry them, and then we're going to crisp them up to finish. But these are still bubbling up too much for my liking. We're trying to make them nice and shatteringly crisp when we do our final fry with them. And I'm trying to do this gently enough that I'm not breaking them, but I still had about a 50% breakage with my first batch. These aren't taking any longer than normal fries, other than they take a lot more surface area of oil. But the thing is, with most French fries or other fries, this is already done before you even have, like, if you're in a fast food restaurant, if you're making fries at home, you're probably buying them frozen with this step already done. I also suspect that there are people that would take offense to the name of these, and there probably is some derogatory origins to the name of these fries. I'm just trying to describe what I'm making. And that's what people know this as. Yeah, that's some good stuff too, Dorito. Pull apart bread, good stuff. Whether it's savory or sweet. I made some nice bread yesterday. I made some brioche and stuffed it with raisins and walnuts, sugar and butter. I had some of that for breakfast. See, we're not even 250 there. Major thing is we're pulling the moisture out, though.
Let's give that a quick moment. I'm going to rearrange these taters a little bit. Try and get them a little more flatter. Though we're getting to the point where we have to stack them. Alright, let's throw our last batch of taters in for their first fry. Yeah. We're back to 280-ish. This will immediately drop it down. Few scraps going. Bye-bye. What is fry sauce? Fry sauce is more or less Thousand Island without pickles. It's a combination of ketchup and mayo. And then depending where you are, they may or may not add spices in there. You may have some garlic powder, you may have some paprika, you may have some what have you. Whatever they choose to throw in there to make it their fry sauce. And it's typically just ketchup and mayo, although I am strongly considering adding a little mustard to mine, too. It's your generic burger sauce, basically, or another term for burger sauce, or... We have so many sauces that are just some sort of combination of mayo, ketchup, and mustard that it's truly astounding, actually. Last batch took longer because it was chasing heat the entire time. I think this one's going to be much shorter because I put it in there with it hot. Most of them Dorito, yeah. Well, just in general, like most diner sauces are mayo-based. I mean, we could get someone in here complaining about the mother sauces, and yes, everything is based off of the mother sauces, but salad dressings and just like mayo and you would think that creamy would equate to dairy in most cases. No, creamy means mayo.
Like, pretty much, you see mayo, creamy on a menu. There's mayo in there. Short of maybe like a pasta sauce. Like, I think I've asked this before. Do we have mayo lovers in chat or haters? Like, what's our makeup here? I sort of have a love-hate relationship with mayo. I use it a fair amount. That said, I'm not the greatest fan of it. Hollandaise is just hot mayo. Oh, but they use clarified, but it's mayo. Ranch is just mayo with savory ingredients and some sort of buttermilk or yogurt or sour cream to give you that tang. They put the herbs in there to make you think it's healthy. They put herbs in lots of things to make you think it's healthier than it is. But it's got green flecks in it. Kielbasi? What was that like? I don't want a streamer world. Hey, Shauna. We're twice frying. Triple cooking, twice frying our monkey fries. These are pretty much there. They're starting to have they're starting to hold their structure. And the bubbles are slowing. They put fresh on just about every label you can see in a supermarket. Yes, people are that simple. Those are spuds. They are thick cut. They're not fries. We're not making ruffles tonight. They're sort of like a cross between a potato chip and a fry. We'll take these out and give them a chill.
turn the heat off on that for a moment. We'll separate some of these fries and try and give them a little more air surface, cooling surface. Prevent them from just all being stacked. Alright. So that is going to go in the freezer. And we'll turn our attention back over to cutting board. Ooh, ad break. We'll take a break while the ads are playing. Wash my hands. Take a sip of water. I'm feeling like I need to change my alert for ads because I'm already toning it out. I'm already, like, not paying attention to it over the music. Not good. That's not what's supposed to be showing. Let me fix that. There we go. People posting some foods in the Discord. I thought I'd highlight that. I was saying I'd like seeing all your foods. Meatball subs. Gelled beef stock. Beef stock. That doesn't seem like a huge yield. Looks delicious, though. There's my bread from yesterday. Pork and pork belly wings from the Hawaiian truck. Bakery posting some other wings. Yeah. Good stuff. We're not getting too hot back here, are we? No. Okay, I turned the heat off. Receive. And it looks like we're done with our ads, so let's go back to massaging the meat. Light coat of flour wanted. Light coat. You just want it dusting. You don't want it caked on at all. That's what happens when you get it caked on. You get flour bubbles, so the egg doesn't stick properly to it. If you don't do a thin coat. You want the egg to stick to the meat, not to prevent it from sticking at all. See, even those are little mini flour bubbles if I could pop them properly with my hand.
Oh, you made a wash? Good stuff.
We're going to move those onto a plate. I bet you when you buy finger steaks in a restaurant, they don't list the weight of how much steak they're giving you. This is sort of like chicken fingers where it greatly bulks things up. And so, like those 2 1/4 strips there, that's a fair amount of steak. I also use the same bones. Oh, I watched it. I already read that. You made a wash. That's something that's also very traditional, but typically the wash or the second boil would be reduced down into a heavy stock or maybe turned into a demi-glace, or it would be treated as lesser. Successfully battering my hands pretty well here. Hey, Winsing. How you been? That's a name I haven't seen in a minute. I'm working on doing dishes from Idaho tonight. So we're frying up steak. I'm making monkey fries, which are sort of like a cross between fries and potato chips. And once I get this steak battered, I'm going to make myself a fry sauce. Starting to get low on breadcrumbs already. Alright, last two. This one's got a little silver skin on it. I don't know if this one's going to be very tasty. It's going to be too chewy. I'm going with it anyways, though. We'll clean up all this stuff here from the beef. And clean off my cutting board, my knife, the other cutting board. knife against the sink. Boo. But I guess we can start heating up our oil again. Let's make fry sauce first, and then we'll heat the oil. Paper towel refresh time. That was a little loud on the mic, my apologies. Hold on to this for me. And we'll give it a quick sandy wipe. So we'll start off with some mayo for our fry sauce. We'll add in ketchup. Alright, now that we got that sort of smooth together, I'm adding mustard to mine. I know that's not really normally the thing, but I'm adding mustard to mine. Get out of the way, bottle. Ooh, that straight up poured out. That was supposed to be like a drop. That was Worcestershire. And then seasoning. And I'm going to do both of them. I'm going to do garlic and paprika. Fry sauce. I am thinking that we need to, rip small spatula. That happened off stream, but, last time I cleaned the small spatula, I noticed it had broken through and was no longer able to stay sanitary. And so mini spatula is now no longer with us. I mixed it in the small little glass bowl, and then I looked at it in the glass bowl. I was like, that looks like a mess. So let's put it in a smaller one and make another mess. It's now happened to both of them. This spatula, along with the other one, came with two matching smaller ones. And both of the smaller ones, I wanted these, I went specifically for these spatulas because they do have a solid core in them. That was the problem with the smaller ones, is you've got this solid bar in the center, and where it was flexing, these got too much rigidity to do it, but the smaller ones, it was flexing wherever that bar was, and the silicone was breaking, and so it had a clear, pretty obvious break across it, and I could flex it and get stuff junking in it, so these have been holding up nicely, the larger ones, but the small ones, they're just too small. The biggest problem with this one is this one's got a notch in it, which I probably got from the blender over there. I'm getting low on, I don't know, it was probably 5 years ago now, but I was I don't need any more spatulas, I don't need any more tongs, I don't need any more whisks. I'm set for life. Well, I need whisks and spatulas again. Still have too many tongs. Alright, let's turn the heat back on and start frying. Let's fry some steak. I let this get too cold. I think I'm going to put my fry sauce in the fridge. Wouldn't want it breaking in the heat of this kitchen. This is fine. My voice commands don't work anymore. They haven't worked for several years, but... I'm not running voice attack anymore. And I haven't bothered to program StreamerBot to do... Or, not StreamerBot. I haven't programmed SprinkleBot to do any of it. SprinkleBot would be more than capable of doing that these days. Alright, we got another 70 degrees to go. I'm going to take a short AFK here and check on a few things and open the window here for maybe a minute or two. We'll say 4 or 5 minute break.
It's the newest, most exciting sound in town. It's a General Electric blender that's going around. Completely new from base to lid. Take it apart, see what they did. The non-skid base is the lowest you'll ever see. The decanter has a 36-ounce blending capacity. The non-spill lid is really smart. For blending convenience, it comes apart. Add additional ingredients if you will. Look, no splash, see no spill. Put them all together and you know it's true. The General Electric blender is best for you. If you want to know another reason why,
It's only 10 1/2 inches high.
stores easily on the counter or on a shelf. There's 1,000 things you can make yourself.
Make party spreads.
Great cabbage heads. Blend the meatloaf for a family of 8. Make ice cold drinks you'll appreciate. Now's the time for you to buy the General Electric blender.
Did he say only 10 1/2 inches high?
What are you doing here? You ought to be outside with the rest of the kids.
This is where Thanksgiving really begins, isn't it, Edgar?
Well, now, if you're referring to the aroma of roast turkey, I concur.
No, Ray, I was talking about the kitchen. It looks like a real center of hospitality.
Did you say hospitality?
Uh-huh.
That's one thing we're always prepared for around here. Help yourself.
Wouldn't this be a good time for you and your guests to have Coca-Cola too?
Yes, and Coca-Cola is so delicious, so refreshing, so tempting to any guest when you bring out those familiar bottles with tiny beads of moisture running down their frosty sides, assuring you that the Coke inside is really ice cold. And the good, the gracious, the friendly homes of America are always prepared for hospitality, not only on Thanksgiving Day, but every day, all the year around, no matter who comes to call or who happens to drop in. And one of the easiest, simplest, and surest ways in the world to be prepared for hospitality is to have plenty of Coca-Cola in your refrigerator, ice cold and ready to serve all the time. It's a wonderful way to say to folks, so glad you came. Welcome anytime.
Better buy Bird's Eye. Better buy, better buy, better buy Bird's Eye.
Yes, always look for this Bird's Eye Bird, your guarantee of top quality frozen food. And your big Bird's Eye buy this week is Bird's Eye Orange Juice. Easy, you can serve it in a minute. Thrifty, it will save you money. Orchard fresh and delicious.
Better buy Bird's Eye. Better buy, better buy, better buy Bird's Eye.
When you have a Labatt's, you have an adventure. Canadian Light, that's Labatt's. It's a great new taste in beer. Enjoy import quality at USA prices. Have an adventure. Have a Labatt's.
Schmidt's Blue Ribbon Bread gives you 7 ounces of non-fat milk solids in every loaf, the equal of 90 quarts a year if you serve it regularly. Every sandwich you make, every snack, gives you extra milk. For wonderful flavor combined with sound food values, serve Schmidt's Blue Ribbon Bread in the pantry pack.
No, Jane and Ann aren't the Crest testers here. Their daddy is. You see, Crest also showed it worked for older people like the Allbrands before it became recognized effective against cavities. Jim, when were you in this toothpaste test?
Back in college.
Let's show the story filmed at a recent reunion.
Let's not. Hello there, random sound effect that was not intended. Why are you not looking at me, camera? Why are you off on a tangent again? Okay. Oil is ready to go. Let's do some frying. Let's get some music playing again, too. Alright. Dropping our first pieces of steak in. They're ready to go. As is the oil. warm up the oven to keep warm temp, but I'm just going to warm it up and then turn it off. Pull our chips out. Throw out the one that looks like it's going bad. Gave these ones a little bit longer because we obviously killed a bit of heat with that first batch in the oil. Yeah, we're down around 300 degrees. That's sort of fun to look at as it continues to bubble through the crust. Oh, nope, we're cranking you back up. Give you a stir. And turn it back around to see what chat's up to. Totally. One last batch of beef here, and then we'll get on to doing fries. We need another 50 degrees in that oil, though. I'm having a piece of steak while we wait. Chicken fried steak vibes. Yummy beef. Oh, I was mentioning with the kid event, I can totally imagine schools being like, yeah, you have to stay here for the full show. Because, like, parents aren't gonna, like, especially if your kid's got a small part or you feel like they've been wronged, yeah, you're gonna show up for your kid and then you're gonna leave. And then the auditorium doors are a revolving door, and yeah, I can. All right, last of the steak going in. My kid's not till the third act, so I'm not going to show up until it's half over. We were appropriately back up to heat for these, so this last batch doesn't need as long as that second batch. Beautiful color on that second batch there. Second scoop. Yeah, that's looking pretty too. Just that bubbling. We'll let those set for a moment. Let's just use you with some paper towel. Okay, fries going in the drink. Steak going down in the keep warm oven. fine salt over our freshly fried taters. In for round 2. Actually, let's check our temps first. Oh no, those need longer. Yeah, those need longer. That one's not bad. We started at the ugly end of the chips, so we got all the broken pieces here to start with. Yeah, this is also a downside to the fries, too, because these have to be pretty much crisp like potato chips. Like, they have to be pretty much entirely cooked through. This is the last of our monkey fries. It's time to put a plate together. That was one steak. I think there's a limit to how much steak I can put on this plate. That's not what I said, captions. Did we go to ads? Boo. Let's do photos first then. Taking forever with photos. Good stuff. I feel like I probably should have gone a little bit thicker on the fries. Like I was a little too thin after cooking them and frying them again. This turned out pretty nice though. I don't know. I can really comment on fry sauce. It's not like it takes magic to create it. Yeah, I went there. Delicious beef. But I do think that wraps up our Sunday. I'm gonna go and enjoy this while it's still hot. Greatly appreciate all of you hanging out with me tonight. A little bit of a quieter evening, but less people showing up and getting a stream. That was nice. Nice seeing some new faces that we haven't seen in a minute either. I'm gonna go send all your lovely faces off to go hang out with Jane Henry. If she'll show up in my list here of people to raid. You gotta be kidding me. I guess it doesn't want me to raid her. Do I have to type her name in? There we go. And then it didn't click her. I clicked the category, and so it didn't pick her. There we go. I'm going to send all your lovely faces to go hang out with Jane Henry. She's doing some orzo salad tonight, being keto friendly. I shall be back here tomorrow night for Can It Be Delicious? So please come by tomorrow and vote on what I have to use to make dinner with. I wish you all a wonderful start to your week and a great night.